Okay, we made enough money from our 2014 Ninja Turtles movie, but the fans complain a lot, and we need to shut them up, okay? We need to shut them up for the sequel so we can make some more money.
Right?
So what do we need?
More focus on the Turtles and less on April O'Neil.
Good.
How about more Shredder?
Good. What about that Casey Jones guy?
I already have a guy signed for him.
Excellent. What else were the fans bitching about?
They've never seen Bebop and Rocksteady or Krang and the Technodrome in a live-action movie.
Make it happen. And also, make sure you get a fan of the cartoon to direct the movie. That way, these fanboys out there will think we give a shit.
Got it. Now, what about the plot?
What's up, heroes in the half shell? Fat Samurai Guy here with Lady Fat Blood, and today we are going to review Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Here's a quick plot synopsis.
For the first time in cinematic history, a movie comes out, fans bitch about it, and the studio changes development for the sequel to suit the fans' desires. Was it for better or for worse? Find out in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, aka the holy shit, what the fuck is going on?
Alright, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Okay, we're gonna get into some spoilers in this spoiler discussion. So here we go.
Jamie, I'm so sorry.
Sorry, Jamie.
Dear God. Okay, I gotta get this out. We both had, like, gutter expectations.
Yes.
Okay, like, bottom of the trash bin. It's been sitting next to the used cat litter.
-0.
I mean, we had no expectations, and it was mostly because of the reviews we were hearing about. You know, when it's a sequel to a movie that was just kind of meh, as the 2014 film was, and you start seeing things like Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang, you know, you're thinking, okay, this is gonna be like a cartoon. I'm fine with that, but then you start hearing like, whoa, I don't even know what the percentage rate is on it right now. I don't know what the ratings are on it right now, but I know it's been pretty bad. We have heard everything from in the 0 point something range, 1 point something range to, it's okay if you check your brain out. And so we go in thinking, yeah, this is gonna be garbage, but it's gonna be fun garbage.
Right.
Big, dumb, fun garbage. And unfortunately, not only did I find myself bored to tears by the end and damn near falling asleep for a couple of scenes, I admit it, I was losing interest fast. I got a lot of big dumb, but not a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Did you?
There are moments, okay? There are moments throughout this film where we did enjoy.
Yeah.
There were moments, okay? Because we expected it to be a live action
Cartoon
of the
episode.
80s
And
cheesy
that's basically what it was.
show.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted, and that's what we kind of expected. We weren't expecting great acting. We weren't expecting a great movie or in terms of plot and all that. We really were not expecting that. But I think at some point during the movie, it was like, I think 20 minutes in, we were like, okay. We had smiles. We liked the intro of the film when they introduced each turtle.
Yeah.
That was great. You know, we enjoyed that. And the first 20 minutes, we were having a good, so bad it's good, goofy fun time. Like, we were having fun. We were having fun. But that just wore very, very thin
I
by
think
the middle to the third act. We were just kind of like, okay.
I think you summed it up
What?
when you said earlier that, we were talking about this earlier, that there's a reason cartoon episodes are only about 22 minutes long.
Right.
And you try to stretch that out into an hour and 15-minute film. And thank God this was not your traditional Michael Bay length where it was like 2 hours and 45 fucking minutes long, because I would have fallen asleep. I would have written this off as a total waste of time. But you can't stretch really shitty kids humor into an hour and 50-minute film. And you know, everyone's going to say, oh, it's a kids movie. And I'm going to be the first one to admit, I have a little cousin who's 6 going on 7 years old. He adored this film.
Oh, yeah.
If I were his age, if I was, 6 to 10 years old range, I would have adored this movie and I would have thought it was the greatest thing of all time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But the problem is that if you keep making kids movies with the assumption that kids are dumb, and they can be, of course they can be, then you're allowing expectations to be so shitty that you allow them to continue being dumb. You've got movies out there, some of the best kids movies out there are the ones that are for both adults and for children. Ones that both age ranges can come in and say, wow, that was really damn good. And this one, they just went straight for that bottom line. And it's almost like, yeah, they knew what they were doing. They knew who they were marketing it to. But again, we come back to that problem where you've got things that work really well, ruined by things that are shit.
Yeah.
Utter just toilet humor, fart jokes, not funny one-liners for the sake of, little chuckles that it's like only a 6-year-old is gonna laugh at this shit. Ruins the really actually good things that work in this movie. And again, I'm gonna come out and say it. I love these turtles.
Oh, yeah.
These turtles are the reason that I am still gonna buy this movie that I'm not too fond of. I'm gonna buy it for maybe $5 on Blu-ray one day. These turtles are great. I love their distinct personalities. Them working together is great. We actually had a legitimate tension and we had Leo for the first time that I've seen in a theatrical film have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder.
He did.
Being the leader. And I thought that was kind of a good touch. And the turtles are the reason to watch these films. Both of the movies so far have demonstrated that they get the turtles. And one of the things that was so frustrating about Out of the Shadows was that it gave me everything I wanted out of it, in that I had more turtles. There was less April O'Neil. We had Bebop and Rocksteady for the first time. We had Krang for the first time. And it was great seeing it all on the big screen. But everything seemed to fall flat when it wasn't the turtles. Bebop and Rocksteady were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I thought they could have been more outlandish and more garish and more just over the top and ridiculous. In the trailer, when you see Rocksteady in the tank going down the waterfall, and it's a slow motion shot, and he's got his fist up in the air, and it looked like it should have been the biggest, dumbest, fun thing ever. It was just kind of okay.
And that was the end of that action sequence too. So like I was saying earlier, we were having fun. I mean, especially, all movies have that one moment. They have that one point where you're either in on it, you're all in, or you're just like, oh, okay, I'm done. All right? And that was the action sequence where the turtles are in the turtle van, or the turtle truck, all right, that shoots the sewer lids. And Michelangelo's controlling these huge, gigantic nunchuck arms.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, yes, this is what we want.
Yes.
This is what we want.
Absurd.
Yes. It's over the top. It's absurd. It's fun. This is what we want. And that's the point where you're either all in or you're just like, okay, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. We, at that point, were all in.
Yeah.
We were all in. We were like, okay, this is ridiculous. This is hilariousness. We were all in. And then it just...
And what's really frustrating,
the over-the-topness, we wanted it to be more over-the-top.
And more ridiculous.
Yeah.
But instead, they tried really hard to throw in a story. And the problem with the story is that this movie is filled with a lot of things happening. And in the end, nothing really happens. How do you do that? And what was really, really dumb... Okay, now, I actually learned recently that Baxter Stockman was supposed to be in the first movie. All of his scenes were cut. Now, I have not looked at any of the special features for the first film to actually see how much of a role he might have had in the first movie. But if you don't know that going in to Out of the Shadows, Shredder, first of all, survives the gigantic fall from the high rise because maybe you could argue he was in his suit. And we have a new Shredder this time out. And at least for this point, he looks more human. And Shredder in the first movie, he was huge and he looked inhuman. And of course, his suit didn't help. Well, this Shredder, he's a little more human-sized. He's an actual actor who gets actual dialogue, and he actually feels like he's part of the movie this time, which is great. Well, he's been incarcerated. And all of a sudden, we learn that Baxter Stockman has been working with Shredder this whole fucking time, when we knew none of this from the first movie. So all of a sudden, Baxter Stockman just shows up and he's trying to spring Shredder from jail. He has his teleportation device, and he goes to transport him from the prison vehicle to the lair that he's currently at, Baxter Stockman is at. Shredder disappears, and all of a sudden, he is in Dimension X. Okay, I'm still with you here, okay?
Yeah.
And then, without any build-up, without any warning for the audience or for the Shredder, without any kind of tension or any kind of, oh, there's this thing that might be lurking around the Shredder. No, all of a sudden, Krang just shows right the fuck up in his robotic suit, and he's outside of the stomach area, and he just starts talking to Shredder. And Shredder is just like, huh. Okay.
Yes.
The only thing he reacts to is the fact that that Krang's tentacle slime gets on his face, and that icks him out. It's like, motherfucker, there is a brain attached to a robot talking to you, and you got nothing to say about this? You're just okay with this?
No.
And it basically boils down to, hey, I'm a bad guy. Hey, I'm a bad guy, and I want to come over to your dimension. Okay, I'll help you out. And that's it.
Oh my god, it's so ridiculous.
And the really fucked up thing about Shredder and Krang in the cartoons that I remember was that they were a couple of bumbling idiots. Yeah. And it was always fun watching them take turns insult each other and just kind of like play off of each other's idiocy. We got none of that in this one. You know,
I didn't like Crane's voice either.
You know, if Krang ever comes back for a sequel, which they very well could, I don't think we're gonna get that really fun, ridiculous, doofy dynamic that we're gonna get, because by the end of the movie, Krang takes Shredder and Han Solos him and puts him in storage.
Yeah.
Shredder, for as much as they actually hired an actor to act as the Shredder, give him a new suit, which he barely wears, Shredder doesn't do jack shit in this movie.
It was really disappointing. Really disappointing. I mean, as soon as he puts on the damn helmet, I was like, yeah, all right, here we go. Let's do this, finally. And then freeze him, throw him with all the other action figures. It was really disappointing, man. It was just, but Crane's voice sucked. Now, on the positive side of the film, the special effects are great, okay?
Yes.
The special effects, the turtles look phenomenal. Bebop and Rocksteady are done probably as good as it was going to get.
Yes.
But even Krang himself, the suit, and Krang, the CG version of Krang, looked really good. The special effects in this movie, you will at least enjoy that.
Yeah, I will say that in a world where my eyes aren't really friends with CGI.
Right.
And I feel that people get really lazy with CGI, and
yes.
the CGI doesn't really improve for sequels. You look at the Transformer films, and there is maybe a little bit of improvement between 2 and 1, but after 2, all the Transformers films look basically alike for me. And CG is not really something that they really give a shit about. Is like they want it to be filled. They want a movie to be CGI filled, but when it comes to actually improving on the models and the existing design and the actual look of the characters, it's rare that you get a sequel that really. I rewatched the first movie the day after we saw Out of the Shadows, and this is a marked improvement for the turtles. The design, they've kind of shrunk down the turtles a little bit so they don't look like they're 7 feet tall. They still have the same body types. Like Raph is still like the huge, burly, heavy. Donnie is still really skinny and kind of shredded, and everybody else still looks pretty much the same. But every single shot that these turtles are in looks pretty damn good for them being completely CGI rendered. And
in the daytime, too.
There's a lot of shots of these guys in the daytime, and they look fantastic. And I don't really say that about CGI because I don't find it impressive anymore, but they did a good job.
And now, Casey Jones.
He wasn't in the movie.
Yeah. That wasn't Casey Jones. No, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, Stephen Amell. Oh, now Stephen Amell. Okay, I like Stephen Amell. Okay, I think he's a good guy, probably a great guy in real life. Okay, but I like Stephen Amell on television. Okay, not every TV actor is good enough to be on the big screen, and I enjoy watching him on Arrow, and his acting skills on Arrow even are limited. Okay, but seeing him in this movie, it was almost like, okay, we're going to take a guy who has very limited acting skills, and what we're going to do is we're just going to tell him, you're in a kid's film, man, go. And it was cringe. It was cringe-worthy. And when did Casey Jones want to be a detective? Who came up with that shit? He's a vigilante. He's like the fucking Punisher going around, except with, a baseball bat and, hockey gear. Okay, he's a vigilante.
Yeah.
So you got cringeworthy acting saying horrible dialogue like, I'm gonna be a detective someday. I mean, oh my god, man, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. I was grabbing her leg in the theater. I was like,
it was,
oh
so,
god.
I'm not the biggest Arrow fan.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I feel like actors on the CW are exactly where they belong.
Yeah.
My personal opinion, which means jack shit in life. And he seems like a really nice dude, honestly.
Yeah.
He seems like a nice guy, but I don't enjoy watching him.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm so sorry. That sounds terrible, but it's just I don't enjoy watching him. And I'm gonna give him the slight benefit of the doubt. And I'm gonna say that half of his problem was not just his acting, but it was the story, the actual character that they gave him. I feel like they had, and I'm really surprised because the director is apparently a huge Ninja Turtle fan. And for the director to okay not only the performance that we got from Casey Jones, but his whole story and his whole motivations for being this vigilante and for being this piss poor interpretation of this character. And this character is not complicated. He's not a difficult character to nail down, but they made it stupid.
Yeah.
And his portrayal was not only stupid, but the whole arc that he had was just like, this is not fucking Casey Jones. This is some guy that they threw in to give April O'Neil somebody to flirt with for 2 seconds, and that went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Not that I need to see those two flirt, because there's no such thing as chemistry with either of those two. With each other or real life, whatever, it doesn't matter. So,
Cringe.
It was, so it was like, not great acting, and then not great character to work with as it was. So that was probably one of the biggest failures that this movie had to offer. Sorry. And unfortunately, I don't know if Michael Bay got his hooks in deeper in this movie or what, but they decided to bring in Steve Jablonsky to do the score. Now, Steve Jablonsky has done all of the Transformers films. And, I'm not going to say that Brian Tyler's score from the first movie was anything remarkable, but it was there. There was an actual theme for the Turtles. It was a nice theme. If we could have kept that for this one, it would have given us kind of a nice base of continuity to go with. Because the Turtles are the same Turtles from the first movie. This isn't like the difference between the 1990 Turtles and the 1993 Turtles, where visually there's just no connecting the two. But aside from the animatronics, but this one, we have the same exact Turtles with the same exact personalities, same exact established world. A theme to carry over from the first film would have been nice. And as much as I enjoy Jablonsky's music in general, this was very Transformers-ish. In fact, we didn't realize Jablonsky had stepped in, and we were listening to the score at one point, and you made a joke. What is this, Transformers? And it's like, yeah, it was Transformers. And by the way, don't think I didn't notice that fucking Bumblebee joke you guys put in the beginning of the movie. I saw that.
The movie needed a little bit more emotional content scenes. Okay, it's a little bit more instead of just fart jokes for the children. I mean, those very few scenes where the Turtles were having beef, man. Like Raphael and Leonardo were kind of going at it, and Leonardo's like, I make the damn decisions, and that's final. I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
That was some good stuff right there, and with the whole concept of, Michelangelo wanting to become human and go above, and you could see his face and, the emotion on his face, and he doesn't want to be known as a freak and all that. Little hints and touches like that were good. But then we go right back to the fart jokes. It was just kind of like, You know, we needed more emotional content, something to get us invested a little bit more, you know. Now, one of the big downers for me, okay, now everyone's different, all right, but one of the big downers for me with this film, and if they tweak this a little bit better, it kind of would have helped me enjoy the movie a lot more, but the action, man. The action was very disappointing. I mean, in terms of martial art fight choreography is what I mean, okay? You got your big set piece with, you know, the airplane falling down and then they're on the waterfall and all that stuff. You have that, but I mean, that's okay. It was all right sequence. It wasn't no, you know, big, huge, drawn out, falling down from the mountain avalanche sequence from the previous film. In comparison, I think that one was a lot more entertaining. But the airplane sequence was fine, but it just wasn't. In terms of fighting, man, I mean, you give us Bebop and Rocksteady, right? And it's great. Yay! We get to see them, right? But it was so disappointing. They barely fought. They didn't do anything. I mean, if you've seen the trailer, that's it. That's it. You see Bebop clothesline one of the turtles, and Rocksteady tackles Raph, and that's it. And I was hoping at least at the end of the movie we're going to get a little bit of a round 2 action. You know, Turtles, you know, versus Bebop and Rocksteady, we get a nice big long drawn out fight sequence or something. We want to see them brawl, man, and we did not get that. Fucking bootleg Arrow Casey Jones, Stephen Amell sticks some wheels on the bottom of his sneakers and skates around, and he defeats Bebop and Rocksteady? Like, really? Really? That's who defeats Bebop and Rocksteady.
And I hope none of you guys are Karai fans.
Oh, man.
Because not only did she have very little impact and got punked in the first movie, she is punked even worse in this movie. They changed actresses for no reason whatsoever, because this one didn't do... It's not like this one did anything that the first chick couldn't do. Right. And she got taken out by April O'Neil.
Yeah. Yeah. April O'Neil and...
Vern. Yeah, Vernon.
April O'Neil and Vern.
Vernon, yeah.
Beat the shit out of Karai and knock her out and win.
Yeah. So
what?
It's like, I hope nobody out there was hoping to see Karai actually do something in this one.
Megan Fox knocks her over the head. I don't know, with a lamp. I don't know what she knocked her over the head with. And when she knocked her out and then went to the very next scene, I was like, oh, it's over? I was like, oh, the fight's done. Oh, Karai lost. Okay. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad, man. See what I'm saying with the action? I mean, there was not that much martial art fight choreography. And a lot of the action was filmed not that great.
No, it was not filmed great at all. And that was something that I noticed. If there were any actual hand-to-hand combat scenes, they were muddled with shitty editing. Mm-hmm. It's like this person, reverted right back to traditional American style of filmmaking when it comes to action sequences, fight choreography sequences where, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just going to edit the shit out of this and make it look like shit and do the shaky cam and all that. And I did not enjoy the action. I didn't enjoy the fight sequences. Yeah. I felt like there were hardly any fight sequences at all. And I already knew going in that the Turtles were more doing parkour and action shit, running around and barely fighting. I already knew that going in, and I was still disappointed by what I saw. And that kind of sums up my experience with this film in general. And this is going to be a very unpopular opinion. I know this because everybody I have been listening to, with the exception of maybe 2 people that I know, have thought that this was a vast improvement over the first movie. Now, when it comes to fan service, I completely agree. This was fan service, 2.0. I mean, this was nothing but, hey, you want Bebop and Rocksteady? We got your Bebop. You want the Technodrome? We got the fucking Technodrome. You want everything you could possibly imagine from the old cartoon movies or the old cartoon TV series? We got it. And to an extent, I appreciate that because, yes, the first movie, rewatching it, yes, it is the April O'Neil show. And yes, it is very claustrophobic and confined to just April O'Neil and just the Turtles and this bullshit plot to put gas over the city so that the Fichtner character can, create the antidote and make billions. Okay. But, and I'm so sorry that I have to be the one with this opinion, rewatching the first movie, despite its problems with the clear reshoots and the clear tacking on scenes and editing other scenes out, I felt like there was an actual threadbare story to be told.
Mm-hmm.
I could not tell you what this fucking story was in the sequel. I didn't feel like this was a movie. I felt like it was a way too long 22-minute B-roll episode of the cartoon. And it was exactly what I wanted in terms of fan service ridiculousness, but the fun just wasn't there for me, and I'm so disappointed because I went in expecting nothing and I got nothing, and I was still disappointed. I'm still trying to figure out how all of this works, but I don't know if anybody's gone back and watched the first movie. I know it left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths, myself included, but going back, not only was the fight choreography with the turtles actually really damn good, but we just had a little bit more of those moments where, okay, we have the turtles on screen, and it's like, yay, it's the turtles on screen. And even though we had some of that in the sequel, again, you had moments where, oh, hey, we're having a really cute little joke here. Like, I'll give you the example of when Casey Jones is taken down to their lair. And he sees Splinter, and he's like, guys, there's a giant rat over there. And the turtles start fucking with him, and they're like, oh, yeah, just sneak up on him. Yeah, just sneak up on him. Just be really quiet and sneak up on him. And he does, and Splinter beats the shit out of him. That was actually a really funny scene, just seeing the turtles being themselves trying to fuck with this guy. And it was ruined by a shitty Big Human 0, Big Rat 1 joke or something like that. It was like, okay, you just ruined it. You completely ruined a really funny moment there. And it felt like that was the majority of the film for me, was really good moments completely ruined by the end of it with a stupid joke.
Yeah.
And with a stupid kid moment.
Yeah, and even the end fight sequence with Krang was okay. It was all right. It was filmed kind of weird. It was kind of odd, but it was okay. I mean, I should be screaming. I should be like, holy shit, Ninja Turtles are on the screen fighting Krang. Ah! I mean, that's how I should be, but I was bored, man. And even in the end credits, this is the sad part. At the end credits, they play the classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle theme song from the cartoon that we grew up and loved, and I didn't give a shit. I just didn't care. Again, at least the first movie, which is not perfect by any means at all, we had some fight choreography. You know, Splinter,
good looking fighting too.
Filmed well.
Yes.
You know, we had some martial arts at least.
Yes.
You know, and Splinter was beating the shit, grounding, pounding the foot, and fighting Shredder. Splinter didn't do shit in this movie.
No, he didn't.
Nobody did anything in this movie.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened in this movie.
And what kills me is I don't hate it.
No, we don't hate it.
Because of the turtles.
Yes.
For the same reason that I went and popped in the 2014 movie and I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would again. It's the turtles. I legitimately adore these representations of the turtles. I even don't mind their look anymore. At first I was, ugh. But now I actually like their design. I do. And that is what's actually going to make it possible for me to buy it when it's really, really cheap and give it another shot. I don't feel like it's necessarily the dog shit that a lot of people are saying it is.
No.
But I feel like, once again, a lot like the first movie, there's so much wasted potential. Especially when you've got a director who clreally took what they had in the potential of the turtles themselves, brought it over to this one and did the best he could with it. There needs to be a little bit more fun, and stop treating kids like they're dumb. Okay, I know it's really easy to fall into that category, but go back and look at some of the kids' movies that we grew up on. Okay, some of them are dumb. Yeah, of course they are. But some of them will stick with you. And there are movies now that are being made. It's rare. But there are some kids' movies now that are being made that will stick with you, and that is what you want. You don't need to make it all trashy, stupid kid humor. I'm just saying, give your audience a little more credit. Give kids a little more credit. And I'm not one to say that, whatever. But look at how successful the Pixar films are. Okay, the good ones.
Yeah, the good ones.
There's some shitty ones out there now. But just give people a little more credit. All right, you don't have to shoot for the lowest common denominator here You can put in your lowbrow comedy every once in a while, but don't let it ruin a good thing. And I feel like that's what happened here. There was just too much loud shit when the loud shit should have been fun, and it just wasn't.
So in the end, the movie has its moments. It has its moments for us. It has its moments. Now, if you guys enjoyed it and loved it and thought it was the greatest thing ever, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's great.
I get why people love this one way more than the first one.
Yeah. And you have to applaud the director and the filmmakers for trying to bring the 80s cheesy cartoon moments into the big screen.
But that's the problem. That's not the problem. The fan service is not the problem. It just didn't feel like a movie.
Yeah.
It felt like a whole bunch of nonsense.
The plot was a mess.
So, I don't know how else they could have gone about this. I kind of hope they can straighten things out for a sequel because I do want to see more of these turtles.
Yeah. But how much cooler it would have been for the Turtles to fight Bebop and Rocksteady, and then maybe after that they have a badass throwdown with Shredder, and then they fight Krang. I mean, I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, dude, this is so awesome, but everything was just like Krang.
It was a blend.
Shredder. So now finally, let's go ahead and give our rating. We give Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows 2.9 out of 5 stars. All right, that's it for today. Let us know what you guys thought of the film in the comments below. Where do you rank the Turtles movies? Is this the greatest Turtle movie of all time because of all the fan service? We finally get what we've been wanting to see for years. Is this the greatest thing ever? Or they got some work to do for these future movies? Let us know in the comments below. We'd like to thank you all for watching. You guys rock. We'll see you next time.
Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.